So, Invincible is mostly seen in his iconic yellow and black costume, but throughout the series he wears a lot of costumes and all of them represent a specific phase of Invincible's life. And yes, I'm also going to include some multiversal Invincible variant costumes because they are too good to ignore. So let's take a look at all of his costumes in chronological order and learn the story behind them. So, when Invincible first got his powers and got involved with the superhero work, he created a superhero suit for himself. There was nothing special about that suit. He just used bandana and goggles to create this makeshift suit. He wore this suit in his first fight as a superhero when he fought against Titan. After Omni-Man discovered him doing all this stuff, while wearing his makeshift suit, he took Invincible to Art's shop to get a proper superhero costume. Art gave Invincible a yellow costume, but Invincible felt that the costume wasn't iconic and that he needed something different. This yellow costume had disc-like structures all over it, and Art revealed to Invincible that he thought his powers were solar power based. That's why he installed solar discs into the suit. Later, when Mark decided that his superhero name will be Invincible, Art finally created a costume that was specifically designed according to Mark's taste. This was Mark's first official superhero costume. It is a full coverage bodysuit in yellow, blue, and black. He also has a yellow mask that allows his hair to flare out. Furthermore, his goggles manage to be iconic as they are built into the mask and shaped almost like bug eyes, making them stand out against other superhero goggles. The costume also has knee and shoulder pads, which gives him a little extra protection, even though he is supposed to be invincible. His original costume nailed the character's iconography right off the bat. Each alteration to the costume made it slightly better, as the knee pads were simplified and the fingerless gloves were removed. But they returned later because Mark thought they looked cooler. And Mark always returned to his original suit when he needed to return to basics. Later, when Mark returned from Thraxan, he was wearing a very different outfit that we never got to see again. This outfit was a traditional Thraxan suit and it looked good on him, but it was not suited for combat and was also not fitting with Invincible's style. That's probably why he never wore it again. After some time, Invincible received a brand new costume from Art. His new costume dramatically changed his appearance and colors for a sleek new dark suit that became his standard for a while. This black and blue suit that Invincible wears doesn't have any additional benefits. Instead, Mark's new appearance indicates that the show's protagonist is starting a new chapter. When Mark loses control and brutally kills Angstrom, he shows shades of being like his father, Omni-Man. And after learning that every other Mark in every other dimension joined Omni-Man, the show's central Mark Grayson is doing some real soul-searching, which is reflected by his new suit. But later Mark starts considering this costume a curse, because ever since he started wearing the costume, bad things started happening to him and his loved ones. For example, the Invincible War and later his battle with Conquest. The next big costume change that Invincible received was when he joined the Coalition of Planets and moved to Taliskria with Eve and his daughter. So, by this time, Alan became the leader of Coalition of Planets, and it was easy for him to give Invincible a job of his own interest. Mark goes to Alan's office, who asks him if his superhero duties are over. Mark says yes, but Alan says that he must make some form of payments since it exhausts Coalition funds. Alan remarks that he would let him stay here free of charge, were it up to him. Alan offers him a job as a spy for the Coalition. Mark is hesitant, but accepts. This costume, unlike Invincible's other costumes, is not iconic in any sense, and to be honest, it doesn't even look good on Bro. It's just like a uniform that Invincible has to wear while living on Taliskria and working for the Coalition of Planets. Then, Mark got his major costume upgrade when he became the Emperor of the Viltrumites after killing Grand Regent Thrag. During the final battle, with the help of Robot's armor, Mark powers through and kills Thrag, who disintegrates in the sun. Alan swoops in and grabs Mark out of the sun before the same happens to him. After Mark heals up, he talks to his dad for the final time, before Omni-Man tells him he needs to lead the Viltrum Empire now. This new costume of Invincible is by far my favorite, and he looks like an absolute badass in his Emperor costume. and this is the first time we see Invincible wearing red. So, after becoming the Emperor, Mark decides he will take the Viltrum Empire to different galaxies and help many civilizations. Mark then takes off to the stars, and after a massive time jump, the story shows where Mark's story picked up from, in space. It shows all his adventures and how he helped or tried to help many civilizations. During this time, Mark also upgraded the Viltrumite costume's color theme and also made some design changes that symbolizes the change that Viltrumites are making. His new suit as the Emperor is mostly white and blue, and to be honest, it looks good as well, but the old red suit is still my favorite one. Moving on, we have Invincible variants from the multiverse, and some of these guys look absolutely amazing. The first alternate version that stood out to me was this one. He is wearing the iconic blue and black costume, but he's fully covered, as it doesn't expose any body parts. In the Invincible War, alternate Mark fought Oliver Grayson on the first day, who was convinced he could defeat the villain. The alternate Mark told Oliver that if he kept saying that he would eventually believe it, and that he will have to earn the Omni-Man symbol on his chest. Next we got the Invincible variant, who was wearing a red and blue costume. He said that he killed his father in his dimension, and his costume appeared to be similar to Omni-Man's. It's possible that after killing his father, he decided to keep his father's costume as a trophy after making some changes to it. After him, we have the Invincible variant who was wearing the traditional old white Viltrumite costume. He killed Spawn in his dimension and ironically fights him in New York City in the mainstream dimension on the first day. The alternate Mark threatens that he will kill Spawn again, who merely poses to an imaginary audience. This guy, in my opinion, looked tough, but then I saw another variant who looked just like him but had a mustache. And he is the only alternate Invincible with a mustache. His costume looks like traditional Viltrumite attire, but it isn't. It's actually designed in the same way like other Invincible costumes, with an eye in the middle, but its color scheme is same as the traditional Viltrumite attire. The next Invincible costume comes from Sinister Mark. His costume design is similar to mainstream Mark, but his costume only consists of yellow and black color, and it also has a yellow cape. Sinister Mark killed his own mother in his childhood house in his dimension, which made him hate to return to the place. Besides that, people in his dimension are more evil than usual. Sinister Mark would eventually be approached by Angstrom Levy, who said he would help him expand his empire into countless dimensions if he took place in his master plan, the Invincible War. Sinister Mark accepted and led the charge into the mainstream dimension with 15 other alternate Marks on the first day of the war. Another variant of Mark, who we didn't see much, was wearing the Thraxan attire. On the first day, he would attack the Pentagon and be killed by Britt and Donald Ferguson. Cecil Stedman would break his arm and get a bloody nose while the duo fought him. He was actually not converted into a reaniman because his body was too mutilated to go through the reaniman process. Another alternate Mark, who looks absolutely crazy, is the one who appears to have burn marks all over his body. He is mainly distinguishable by veiny head, and he is seen wearing a torn off Viltrumite attire, at least it's what it appears to be. He is supposed to be an homage to Anakin Skywalker after he is severely burnt by lava in Star Wars 3. The last costume on my list is Mohawk Mark's blue suit. It appears to be exactly similar to the blue suit of mainstream Mark, but there are some differences in the design and color scheme. On top of his unique costume, he is also distinguishable by his mohawk. In his dimension, Mohawk Mark and Atom Eve had grown close after Rex cheated on her with Kate. However, there was something off about Mohawk Mark, like he was just not entirely human, which he isn't, but you get what that means. He didn't see things the same way others did. There were little things, but the team members mostly ignored them. What happened was, Mohawk Mark realized how different he was from the people of his planet, and how stupid it was for him to waste any time protecting them and fighting them without getting anything in return. He realized that the people of Earth could be worshipping him. Then, Omni-Man enlisted him, and Mohawk Mark actually thought the team would help him take over the planet. Eve actually considered it, but after he killed Rex, whom she was no longer in love with but very close with, she fought him. Mohawk Mark then killed her, Kate, and everyone else. Till now, Mohawk Mark was also wearing a yellow and blue costume, but after, a chain of events transpired in which Omni-Man, Phadus, and Thula were killed, and Mohawk Mark was appointed Emperor of the Viltrumites. He got his new blue costume, which he still wears. Thrag was cast out and led a rebellion. Because he was not a superhero in this dimension, he did not kill Conquest. They took over Earth and set up their high-tech power center citadel in the Pentagon. So yeah, that's all for this video, and thanks for watching.